For years, the United Way has gauged the needs of the community through its member nonprofits and agencies. Now this community needs assessment has the data all in one place to unearth the struggles that local families face day in and day out.
We wanted to see what are the most pressing needs in the community.
Food on the table.
I think some of the things that kind of shocked us, the food insecurity.
Paying the bills.
We know that like affordable housing is an issue. The cost of living is high here.
Making ends meet takes a toll on a working family in Horry County, according to the United Way of Horry County's first community survey. After roughly 2 months and nearly 4,000 responses later,
everyone wanted a better community for their kids than they have currently.
The agency found that it's difficult for more than half of those surveyed. Only 47% of the households say they can address their basic needs from food to health care with what income rolls in. 74% saying they've needed food assistance in the last year. Larry Nowak leads the food distribution effort at Faith Outreach Ministries.
It's confirming what we suspected, that the needs are great in Horry County.
Entering the holidays, he's seeing the need for food help growing once again.
I've been around the 300 to 375 families coming through. I would not be shocked to be over 500 this month.
While he has help from agencies like the United Way, Blakely Roof there admits the findings of this survey show they need to change what they prioritize as well and help those seeking counseling.
And it affects people from kids all the way up to seniors. So that's really one area that we're moving forward in and working on as we speak in the mental health realm.
Now, the United Way of Horry County plans to complete a grant application next week asking the county for federal relief funds to help with that mental health endeavor. Nowak says for now, nonprofits are the groups most capable to help these families. But eventually, he'd like to see those in government address these issues as well.
Executive Director Brian Braddock says this is a huge loss financially for the nonprofit. But he pointed out even beyond the money, the loss of this box takes away an avenue for people to help others.
To see that it be completely vandalized, it's just a sense of hopelessness.
That's how Executive Director of the House of Hope, Brian Braddock, says he felt when he got the call over the weekend that this donation box off 3rd Loop Road was vandalized, leaving him at a loss for words.
It's not like there's gold in those boxes. There's things that people are giving away so that we can support the homeless.
These boxes are a convenient way for people in the area to drop off old clothes, items, or furniture so it can be resold through the House of Hope's Mission Mart. These boxes bring in $30,000 annually, which goes into other projects like their men and women shelters and their new tiny home village. But now with the box being removed, it won't be easy to replace.
That was the best location. We can't just put them anywhere. There's ordinances relating to drop boxes. There's only certain places that we can put them where they'll be visible, but also, convenient.
But Braddock says beyond the money, these boxes allow people to connect with those in need.
Multiple impacts outside of the money. That's the first touch for some people to learn about the House of Hope. And that's their first engagement. So it has some residual effects way beyond just the donation, convenience, and the money generated.
Braddock says if you would like to donate any items, you are encouraged to drop them off at the Mission Mart on South Irby Street.
Okay, so Carlos, was there anything else that Braddock said when you spoke to him about what is clearly a huge loss for them?
Yeah, Jennifer, he says they plan to remove this box right over here from that area at the end of the month. He also had a message to those who vandalized the box. He's asking them, if you're struggling, to please reach out instead of stealing. Their doors are always open.
United Way of Horry County recruits and trains volunteers to receive IRS tax certification. Those volunteers staff the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, which helps residents determine if filers actually qualify for any tax credits. Right now, there will be 3 sites for free tax preparation in Conway, Myrtle Beach, and Surfside. With another volunteer support, there could actually be a 4th operation set up in North Myrtle Beach.
We have a very high accuracy rate of over 95%, and so why pay to get your taxes done when you can get them for free and not have to worry about that stress.
We have more information on WPDE.com, where you can sign up to volunteer, and residents with a combined household income of $56,000 or less in 2021 are eligible for the assistance program.
Yeah, he specifically calls it cautious optimism, and he points to this time last year as an example. While schools were not in person, businesses were only partially open, and gatherings were limited in size, COVID-19 cases were rising twice as fast as they are right now. He says from his studies, we have the power to continue that trend. The pandemic changed our world in ways that are irreversible. And epidemiologist Dr. David Dowdy says that extends to the virus itself.
We are never going to get to a level of immunity in this population where this virus just disappears from the map.
Instead, the Johns Hopkins professor says herd immunity opens the door to a new world where COVID is manageable.
As immunity builds up, cases of COVID-19 will likely get milder over time as well. So we're going to have to figure out as individuals and as a society how much risk we're willing to tolerate.
He says the proof is already there. As people decide to build their immunity through the vaccine or antiviral pills, we're closer to living in tandem with the virus.
We're living our lives much more like in pre-pandemic times. And despite this, the COVID death rate in the U.S. is still falling and is now only half of what it was 2 months ago.
But for that to grow, behavioral scientist Dr. Rupali Lamay says that's up to the unvaccinated.
These types of viral infections, they need a susceptible host. 42% of the population is still susceptible.
Dr. Dowdy says taking that host away means approaching our new world, not post-COVID, but with a less deadly COVID.
The world may never look like it did before the pandemic, and we may still be in for winter surges in cases this year. But from a COVID-19 perspective, there are many reasons to believe that things will be much better in 2022 than they have been for us these past 2 years.
Now, he says our new world means also changing our logic moving forward. He says while vaccinated people can have a breakthrough infection, it's very rare that they would go to the hospital or die from COVID. He says that while we might see a surge in cases every winter for the rest of our lives, having herd immunity means those cases feel like the flu and nothing more.